Gunsmoke was one of the first primetime TV westerns to take the genre seriously. But there are plenty of things fans don't know about the beloved program's 20-season run. Join Facts First as we take a look at huge details you didn't notice in Gunsmoke. Gunsmoke first premiered on television in 1955. The first episode aired on September 10th, and the show went on to last for 20 seasons. The show was incredibly influential, leading to many more primetime television westerns in its wake. Because of this, many in the television audience today don't fully understand just how groundbreaking the show was for its time. 4 days prior to the premiere, a show by the name of The Life and Legend of Wyatt Earp had premiered. That show was the first primetime western that was written with an audience of adults in mind. While The Life and Legend of Wyatt Earp was the show that premiered first, Gunsmoke was the show that went on to have the biggest impact when it came to westerns on television. Before the introduction of shows like those, the only westerns that were available were shows like The Lone Ranger. Most of the westerns available on TV were serials designed with an audience of children in mind, and Gunsmoke became one of the first programs to offer the veritable true grit that audiences had come to expect from westerns on the big screen. Despite the fact that Gunsmoke didn't premiere on television until 1955, it had been a beloved radio show for several years before making the leap into the new medium. Matt Gets It was the name of the first episode, though its plot had been taken from a concept explored previously on the radio program. When the series made its premiere on TV, the cast and crew gathered at the home of star James Arness to watch it. James was married to actress Virginia Chapman. Virginia had a son from a previous marriage, and James had become his adopted father. James Arness hadn't been the network's first choice for portraying Gunsmoke's Marshal Matt Dillon, but he ended up being the right choice for the job. The network originally was trying to secure John Wayne, but the movie star wasn't comfortable committing to a weekly series. But John Wayne did recommend his friend, James Arness. Given James's rugged looks and intimidating stature, he proved to be the exact right person for the job. Although John Wayne had opted out of taking the starring role, he was talked into lending his credibility by filming an intro for the series that played before the show's premiere. The cast and crew hadn't been made aware of the intro, so they were all pleasantly taken aback when John Wayne appeared on the screen while they were watching the premiere at James's house. During Wayne's introduction, he warned the audience he wasn't going to be in the actual program, but he did give his blessing to the show, saying it was one of the most impressive works of its kind that he'd ever seen. Given that John knew a thing or two about the Western genre, his opinion truly meant something to audiences. The first episode of Gunsmoke was full of little secrets that audience members with keen eyes and an affinity for the Western genre could spot. One such Easter egg was the appearance of a wanted poster for notorious outlaw Billy the Kid on the wall of Marshal Matt Dillon's office. Prior to the 1915 premiere, another actor had portrayed Marshal Matt Dillon for the radio show. This was William Conrad. William continued to play the role on the radio show, although he had been deemed too fat to play the role on television. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to Facts First if you haven't already. There are many more interesting factoids about the beloved show Gunsmoke that not even the show's biggest fans may know about. One such factoid includes who was really the man who played the gunfighter in the show's memorable opening credits. Arvo Ohala was the man responsible for playing the gunfighter that Marshal Matt Dillon memorably pulls his gun on during Gunsmoke's intro sequence. While that name might not sound familiar to audiences, Arvo was a notable gun specialist who helped many actors and actresses prepare for roles in westerns. Arvo's incredibly fast quick draw made him the perfect person to portray the villain in Gunsmoke's opening sequence. He was also the one who trained James Arness how to accurately portray Matt Dillon as an experienced gunslinger. Not only that, he also got to work with many other notable actors and actresses during his career, including Paul Newman, James Garner, Robert Culp, and even Marilyn Monroe. Another actor who featured in the first TV episode of Gunsmoke was Paul Richards. Richards played the episode's villain, a man named Dan Gratt. Subsequently, Paul appeared on the program 2 more times over the course of its run, each time playing a different character. When all was said and done, 635 episodes of the Gunsmoke TV series were produced. Prior to the premiere, the radio program had been broadcast since 1952. After Gunsmoke ended, the property continued to be revived in the form of various reunion movies until 1994. Because of this, Gunsmoke can be declared a rare media franchise that lasted in some capacity for nearly half a century. While James Arness certainly made a name for himself as a hero on the screen via his portrayal of Dillon, he was also a hero in real life. James saw active combat in the Battle of Anzio during World War II. During the battle, he received numerous injuries, earning both the Purple Heart and Bronze Star. The injuries would go on to plague Matt for the rest of his life, inhibiting his ability to walk. Because of this, Gunsmoke's shooting schedule had to be lenient on the actor when it came to filming walking scenes. Although walking scenes could still be filmed, they had to be filmed relatively sporadically and earlier in the day. Because Gunsmoke lasted for 2 decades and produced over 600 episodes, it proved the perfect breeding ground for future TV stars. These included William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy. Gary Busey also appeared in one of the show's final episodes, with his character going down in history as the last person Marshal Matt Dillon ever shot down. Over the course of Gunsmoke's 2-decade run, James Arness was the only actor to appear in every single one of the show's 635 episodes. But there was another actor who appeared throughout each of the 20 seasons, Milburn Stone. Milburn Stone portrayed the character of Doc. Though he didn't feature in every single episode, he was there throughout the whole run. James Arness's portrayal of Marshal Matt Dillon went on to define the character for TV audiences, but there were many other actors who had been considered. Besides John Wayne, other actors who almost beat James to the role included William Conrad as well as Raymond Burr. Just as with Conrad, Raymond Burr ended up being considered too rotund to play the part. It's been said a total of 26 actors screen tested for the role, with James eventually beating all of them thanks to both his intimidating appearance and John Wayne's recommendation. While the TV series lasted until the 70s, the radio show came to an end in 1961, with over 400 episodes produced. Radio and TV weren't the only mediums Gunsmoke became popular on, however. In the UK, the show was known as Gun Law, and the popularity of the series there led to a comic strip of the same name. This ran in the UK's Daily Express, starting in 1957 and lasting until 1978. Artist Harry Bishop drew the art for the comic strip, lending a realistic style that carried over the show's gritty take on the Western genre. Although Gunsmoke ended up lasting for 2 decades, there was a moment in 1967 when it appeared as if the seminal Western TV series was about to come to an early end. The show's ratings were slipping, and many at the network wanted to pull the plug. But the president of the network happened to be a personal fan of the series, so he gave the show a new time slot. The only trouble was the time slot already belonged to Gilligan's Island. Because of this, Gilligan's Island was taken off the air, and Gunsmoke went on to last for several more years. Do you have any interesting factoids about Gunsmoke? Let us know in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Facts First if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.